Christian Amanpour, who's live for us in Kyiv. And Christian, even though Russia's efforts to take over Kyiv in a short period of time, that failed, parts of the capital where you are, as you tell us, are still totally destroyed. And you visited a farming village about a mile from the front line. Tell us what you saw.
Well, Jake, I did, and the thing also is that we had some incoming missiles into this city, into the heart of this city this afternoon. So, while, yes, the Pentagon and others believe that troops are withdrawing from this region to Belarus to refit, resupply, and then be redeployed somewhere, we were also told to expect continued air power and potential missiles, and that is certainly what we saw in the heart of this city. Earlier today, I went to the outskirts of Kyiv, where it's pretty much a farming village, and the Ukrainians very early in the war showed us how they had stopped a major armored column of the Russians from coming from there right here to the center. The first thing you notice approaching the front northeast of Kyiv are the lines of villagers waiting for humanitarian handouts. They receive a bag of bread and basics to get them through these difficult days. The first week of the war, a shell hit us near the greenhouse. We barely survived, says this woman. We had help from strangers around us. They gave us bread and canned food. We wouldn't have managed otherwise. No one here knows when this war will end or whether Russia still has designs on Kyiv. The front line is about a mile away. For now, an uneasy calm prevails ever since the Ukrainian defenders stopped the Russian advance here. It was February 28th, they say, day 4 of the war. They want to show us how they did it, but first we have to clamber over the bridge they downed to see the armored column they managed to take out. The riverbank is littered with their skeletons, and this was a turkey shoot. Russian armored vehicles and tanks had come off the road to avoid the anti-tank mines, only to find themselves unable to cross the bridge and unable to reverse in time. Ukrainian forces tell us none of the soldiers inside survived. A little further up the road, 2 tanks had been virtually smelted, blasted almost to smithereens. 40-year-old Yevgeny, a veteran fighter, proudly tells us this was his handiwork. We all here have one role, to keep the enemy off our land, he says. First thing they did after seeing the village, they started to shell houses, just like that. They didn't see us. They didn't know we were here, so they just started to work on houses. And so I took the tank in my sights and I fired a rocket, and goodbye to him. The destroyed vehicles are stamped with an O. The Ukrainian officers here tell us this identifies them as Russian units that entered from Belarus to the north. Oleg is the officer who commanded this operation. As for now, looking at previous fighting we've had, I can tell you that we are trained better, he tells me. We have stronger morale and spirit because we're at home. They are afraid, but they go because they're made to. He's been battle-hardened ever since the first Russian invasion in 2014. He says his side has enough weapons, ammunition, and determination to win. I can tell you I'm almost sure the Russians are regrouping and not retreating, he says. Besides, we are preparing ourselves to go forward. We're not preparing just to defend here. US and British intelligence say Putin seems to have, quote, massively misjudged this situation and clearly overestimated the abilities of his military to secure a rapid victory. This old lady tells us, I have seen one war and here we go again. I wish Putin would go away. The people of this land remain stalwart and the soldiers remain dug in, hoping they can continue to withstand whatever Putin has in store for them next. And so, of course, who knows what Putin has in store? Everybody's trying to guess his next move. As you mentioned, could it be a division of the country? Could it be a stalemate, a continued war of attrition? One of the very, very concerning things, the Polish Prime Minister told me that even despite all these sanctions, which eventually will bite, the ruble in Russia is doing pretty well, and they're concerned that Putin's not yet feeling enough pain in order to stop this.
All right, so CNN's Christian Amanpour in Kyiv, Ukraine. Thank you so much. Appreciate that report. As the war